Hey there, everybody. Kendall here. I want to just pop on really quick before I get home and my day gets all crazy because it is definitely a Monday for me and it's, just busy as heck. So I wanted to pop on and just quickly run through some of the thoughts that I was thinking. I'm out here driving in Monday morning traffic and there's just all these cars around me, and some of them are really beautiful and some of them aren't so beautiful, and some of them are like just old nasty, you know falling apart cars and everything. And I was actually sitting next to this beautiful Mercedes, and it was just this really really pretty Mercedes. I was like, damn, that's a nice looking car. And I love my car. I really do. I love my car. I've had so many cars through my lifetime, though. I remember growing up. I grew up really, really poor, and my dad, he got these like old junkers sometimes in auction. And I remember that we had this baby blue, oh God, it was like this massive, I don't even know what it was, but it was like this really really massive car. It was an old police car, something that you would have seen in like Dukes of Hazzard or something. And it was just baby blue, and it still had the little holes in it from the lights and everything that the police had on there. And this car, it had that smell to it. It was just a smell. It's a smell that if I ever come near this smell, I'm just like, I just get tossed back into this car of my childhood. And it was just, it's crazy. And I remember also, my dad he had a 1963 or 65 Jeep CJ5, and I loved that CJ. It was amazing, just to go out camping and adventures and the stories of that Jeep. It was so awesome. It did get old and rusty, and it had its challenges as time went on. And I remember the first brand new car that my mom bought. I was 15 years old, and she went out and she bought a brand new little Daihatsu, and it was this little car, and it just, if you stepped on the gas, it went all like that, made a sound. But she was so happy because it was brand new car, and she had not had a brand new car for like 25 years. Everything had just been secondhand, or just like these auction cars and everything that was falling apart. And she finally got this brand new little Daihatsu, and she was just in love with this little car. And to me, even at 15, growing up so poor, I was just like, wow, I felt like all of a sudden we were millionaires, because every day now to go to school and to go to her store that she owned, we would be getting into this brand new car. So there was just this feeling about it. I also remember that back when I was like in third, fourth grade, my parents had this like green Hornet, and the black goo stuff that holds the windows in. We were in Sacramento, I think, or maybe it was San Francisco, on a field trip, and some girlfriends and we were sitting in the back seat of the car, and there was some of this like black goo that held the window in the back, kind of coming out from the heat, because it was a very old used Hornet. And I remember that I went and I picked at this black goo, and then my girlfriends also did that, and we started to paint on the back of the vinyl, of the seat. And it was one of those like full seats in the front and everything. So it was a trip. The pool staff guy, I'm sitting in front of my neighborhood pool, and the pool staff guy just pulled in front of me, is looking at me like, what is she doing? But I remember that we painted on the back of the seat of the Hornet, and my parents, they were so pissed at me, so pissed, and I got into so much trouble because I ruined the car. I ruined the car. So here I am, fast forward, adult years. I've had a beautiful Durango that I absolutely was in love with, had massive power, beautiful memories in that car. Also was just a struggle because I just could not keep up with the cost of the Durango. Moving forward, then, I had some sedans, had minivans. I remember I had this Dodge minivan, and it just kept doing all this. It was just constantly in the shop. It drove me crazy. Like every single time, no sooner get it repaired and something else would happen to it. It was just this consistent disaster with this car. Although I needed the car because I had 5 kids at that time, so I was like, I need a minivan, and it just didn't have the get up and go that I decided that I needed. Fast forward, ended up having like a couple of years ago, had leased a beautiful Tahoe and everything, and it was just the plushest, most yummy car. Had everything, all the blings and all the everything, and just loved it. Absolutely loved it. Now I drive a Buick. And I love my Buick. It's got some things that I wish that I had in it that I learned from like the Tahoe, and had a Honda Pilot for a while that had all the blings and everything. And those 2 cars really helped me to appreciate some of the things that I really like. Now I've had men in my life that have had these amazing little sports cars, and, amazing little sports cars, and just like all the speed and the sizzle and the good looks and all this different stuff. So through the years, I've experienced a lot of different cars. Even went out and went to one of these exotic racetracks to race a Lamborghini and everything one time a few years back, and learned that although the Lambo is a really cool ass looking car, it is really uncomfortable and awkward. This is like, I really would not want to own one of those. Like, it is beautiful and it is fast, but to actually sit in it was uncomfortable, and just it was not my cup of tea for sure. So why am I talking about cars this morning? Like, why am I talking about cars, and what do I mean about I treat my men like cars? I treat my men like cars, and I see that my guy is on, so here you go. What kind of car are you, Steve? No, I was thinking about it, and I was like, here's the reality. We get into a relationship, and it's like we get into this relationship, and we go along, and where it's like, oh wow, it's kind of like a lot of people are looking for the Lambo relationship. Like, that's what we want. We want this Lamborghini relationship where it's like, ooh, it's so hot, it's so pretty, it's so fast, it's passionate, it's like, it's got all this stuff, and everybody's gonna be jealous of this relationship because, ooh la la, has it ever got it going on? But then you get into the relationship and you drive the car, right? You drive the relationship, you get in, and you're just like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. This is not comfortable. It might be pretty on the outside, but it's real, like, it's just not comfy. It's not fitting to who I am, to my needs, to my desires. It might have all the sizzle on the outside and the good looks, but it's not exactly what I really truly want. So what does it do? It helps us to identify that we might like something that looks really, really pretty, that we might really like something that is passionate, that is, got some good tempo to it and everything. Got some sizzle, but we need something more. We need more depth. We need more connection. We need to actually feel good in our relationship, not just look good in our relationship. And that's what those relationships serve. But imagine that you get this Lamborghini relationship that looks all hotsy-totsy on the outside, and then you're just like, well, now I'm in it, so now I've got to stay in it. Like, that's just it. I've got to stay in this relationship no matter what. Maybe I've learned that I'm really not happy in this kind of relationship, but you know what? I said that I'm staying in this relationship. I said that I wanted this relationship, so till death do us part. I am kicking it right here. I'm only going to drive this relationship. I'm never going to get another one. I'm never going to experience anything else. I'm never going to actually get comfortable. I'm never going to really probably be happy, but at least it looks good. At least it looks good, right? Or vice versa. We get into a relationship that's, I think back to what I was talking about, like actually the CJ5 to me was like one of my favorite cars of this lifetime. I look back and, like maybe I never got to drive that, but I look back at that CJ5 and the adventures and the memories and the beautiful experiences. And it was fun. It was so fun to just go popping around in that Jeep. I loved it. And then I look back and there's relationships where there's so much beauty to the relationship. That was so fun. It was so great. There was so much laughter, so much connection and everything. But sometimes even those relationships kind of got worn out for one reason or another. There were little kinks and stuff. Other relationships taught other things. Like some relationships taught me that I really like stability. Like I really, really do like stability. Stability feels good in relationship, in life, in being able to have that. There's a certain security. I also love open, authentic communication. I don't like hiding. I don't like having to like walk on eggshells with my relationship. I've had relationships where I had to walk on those eggshells. Imagine that if you're in that kind of relationship where you've got to walk on eggshells, you don't know where your partner is at any given time. You can't truly be yourself. You're constantly feeling judged and criticized and critiqued. But you go, well, I stepped into this relationship, so now I have to stay here. I have to stay here. Is that true? I mean, is that truly true? Is that the best thing for you, for the other person? Is that daughter's calling. Is that the best thing for you? Is that the best thing for the relationship? Is that the best thing for your expansion, your growth? Are you really truly learning about relationship? Because, we live in this world where we get into these relationships and we want them to just kind of stay. And it's like, no, you are the one. I proclaim it. This is the way it is. Till death do us part. We're never going to part. My heart's going to be completely broken. My life is going to be wrecked if you ever leave me, if we ever break up. It's just blah, 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 horrible, horrible, ridiculous. I cannot live without you. I'm not complete with you. I have no fulfillment, no joy, no love. This is us being extremely codependent and putting a massive responsibility onto somebody else. So come back to the car. Imagine if you're like, well, I can never drive any other car. I will never be able to go and travel. I'll never be able to go to work again. I'll never be able to go on a road trip again. I'm never going to be able to pick up my kids from school again if I don't have this car. This car is the only car that I can hop around town in. This is the only car that I can go to the grocery store in. This is the only car that I can road trip in. This is it. For the rest of my life, this is it. I will not accept anything else, even though I'm not happy with it, even though I'm not really feeling fulfilled, even though it's really fucking uncomfortable. This is the only car because I like the looks of it, or, I like this about it, or I like that about it. That's ridiculous, right? Like, we know that our cars are going to wear out. We know that we're not going to drive one car our entire life. We know that we're going to outgrow a car, or we're going to expand. Maybe we need to shrink it down. We want different things at different points of our life, Imagine you're a single person and you get a cute little two-seater sports car, right? Convertible top, all this kind of stuff. And you don't have any kids. You're not married. You're not, in a relationship. You're just whizzing around town and it's fun and everything. And it looks good and it's exciting, but then all of a sudden you meet somebody and you get into the relationship with them, and then you have 3 kids, but you've only got this 2-seater car, and you're like, well, kids will never go anywhere because I'm not getting rid of this car. That's not happening. Like, this car is the only car that I will ever drive. This is our family car, except the family's not part of the car. We can't even fit in here. That's ridiculous, right? It's crazy. No, you might keep that car, but chances are you trade your little sports car in on a minivan or an SUV, or at least some car that's at least a 5-seater at this point in time, if not bigger, because that's what your needs are. That's where your life is at. This is where you've expanded to, the things that have come about. So when you look at it, like, put it into a car sense, doesn't it make sense that if you started looking at your relationships like this, and I know I titled this is the way that I treat my men like cars, but truly this is relationship, okay? Men and women alike, it does not matter. If we started to look at our relationships more like they were cars, we would start to realize that maybe we drive one car, but number one, chances are in relationship, unlike with a car, it stays the car. It has its challenges. It might be a really great car, and then it might turn into a lemon. It might start needing a lot of wear, repair and everything because of the wear and tear that we put on and everything, which we do to relationship as well. But in relationship, when we are with somebody, that person that we are with is consistently evolving and changing and growing into a new person, just like we are consistently evolving and changing and growing into a new person. It is absolutely crazy to try to expect that whatever relationship we are in is going to maintain and remain the same for a lifetime. We would grow bored, and we would not be learning, we would not be connecting, we would not be experiencing ourselves, nothing, if that was true. And it's not true. Even the most boring people that think that they never change still change. Like, you are not the person you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You are not the person that you were last week. Lots of different events have happened. In the realization of, like, hey, change is inevitable. That is part of evolution. That is part of life. We grow, we change, we expand. Then isn't it also reasonable to think that perhaps the relationship that we are in right now is going to grow and change and evolve? If we grow and change with it, and our partner as well, then we can expand together and we can continue to take this journey together. But quite often in life, what ends up happening is one person expands and the other person decides to not expand as quickly or in the same direction. We got on different paths, or we just serve the purpose in that relationship that we were supposed to serve, in the opening, in the desire building for something more. I know that my last relationship was so serious, and he taught me about stability. He taught me about strength and stability. He taught me about open relationship. He taught me about that I could speak my truth, that I could have things that I wanted, where my relationship before that was very up and down and emotional and closed in the emotional connection, as far as like being authentic and being able to state. Then I moved into a relationship, and also it was very rocky financially. The stability factor was obsolete. So I was desiring stability. I was desiring just this steadiness. And I moved into a relationship that offered just that steadiness and stability, except there was not the connective, there wasn't the joy, the play there. It was just an openness and a really cool calm, until it was not, but it was a cool calm. Now the relationship that I have is playful and connective, and I don't feel like my stability has necessarily been destroyed either, so like there's stability there, there's connection there, there's a whole bunch of different stuff, but there's other lessons that are coming up from that relationship for both of us. And I believe that that is just the story of relationship. It is that if we start to look at it as though, what is this relationship offering me? What am I growing? What beliefs of mine that I had before that might not be serving me anymore as well as what they could? How are those starting to change and evolve? Am I being asked to step into new aspects of myself, to explore different aspects of life, new journeys? Where am I being asked to open? Is my partner being asked to open? And what am I willing to accept, allow, move into, open up to, and what am I not? So every relationship, much like every car, you get into a car and you're like, yeah, that's a great car, but I wish it had, or I thought it was, but it's not. And then we change cars, we move through, right? Well, relationship's exactly the same thing. Relationship allows us to experience things that we don't like and the things that we do like, so that we can move forward and call in the things that we want more so. It helps us build desire, and it helps us understand who we are and what is bringing us the most joy in any given moment. So yeah, I treat the men in my past, in my life, pretty much I treat all, even my relationships, like even my friends and everything. It really is kind of like driving cars, the understanding that this too shall change, and we are all evolving, we are all growing. And as much as I love any given person, I also know that time may change the relationship, and that might mean that that relationship is no longer serving me in the same capacity that it is currently serving me. That does not mean that the relationship was not successful. That does not mean that it wasn't a good relationship. That does not mean that you have to dislike, hate on somebody. You should actually be appreciative of every relationship, no matter what the end result or how it ends or how it grows or expands. Be appreciative of what it has offered you, what it has taught you, and enjoy the ride while it's there, truly. So I hope that this was beneficial in some fashion or form to you. If I said something that was touching to you, please make sure to hit the little share button. Help me get Conscious Coffee out there. Addison Bell and I are teaching a class called Only Sexy Men Need Apply. It is a local men's dating workshop, and there has been a lot of confusion on this as to, because we have this hot banner of some really sexy guys going. And I know that some of you local guys are like, oh, well, they're just wanting attractive guys to show up to this workshop, physically attractive guys. Actually, it's not the physical attractiveness that makes, I mean, much like that Lambo car that I was just talking about, you know, you can have all the physical looks on the planet, but you may not be sexy. Sexiness is a feeling. Sexiness is about connection. Sexiness is about confidence. Sexiness is a knowing at your core, and it is something that you can actually learn. It is something that you can develop and fine tune. It has nothing to do with your pant size. It has nothing to do with your jawline. It has nothing to do with how much hair you have on your head, how tall you are, what your weight is, how much money you make, or anything of the sort. Sexiness is a feeling. And for all you local guys out there who are single and wanting to know, how can I attract a dynamic woman, a woman that is turned on and confident and, you know, present and connective and playful? Well, she's going to want a sexy man, a truly sexy man. And she's going to look past your looks, and she's going to go straight to your heart and your soul. And how do you make her feel? So if you are a guy here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and single, and you would like to learn how to call in that soulmate woman into your life, that woman that really floats your boat in all the right ways and connects and makes you just want to be a better man, well, make sure that you click on the link in the comment section and come explore Only Sexy Men Need Apply, because we are going to be talking about true sexiness and giving you some tips, tricks, and some probably pretty funny stories from two women that have dated one heck of a good group of guys out there in multiple ways. So make sure that you click on it and come to Only Sexy Men Dating Workshop on September 21st. For anybody who is not local, and you would like this content, or learn more about sexiness and confidence and connection and dating and men and women and sexuality and relationship and all that yada 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 stuff, well, reach out. That is what one-on-one coaching is for. That is what VIP programs are for. Us coaches are out here ready to help you level up your life, level up your love, level up your relationships, level up your sex, your money, your everything, and have that fuck yes life. Reach out to me for one-on-one coaching today and take advantage of that. Again, look in the comment section for my consultation to sign up for one-on-one coaching with me. And as always, everybody, I love you. Stop existing. Start living. You are worthy of a dynamic relationship. You are worthy of having it all. You are worthy of really, truly calling in the love of your life. You're Mr. Right or Mrs. Right now. Okay, everybody, I will catch you tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee. Bye.